Hey there, today we're going to make one of my favorite dishes, and that is crab cakes. I do mine a little different. I do them a little smaller, a little thinner, and because I like the crispy part on the outside. When I fix any meal, one of the things that I like to anticipate is how it's going to look on the plate. So we're going to pair the crab cake with some rounds of baked sweet potato and some baked asparagus for pretty color. Um, we're going to get started doing one of the most important parts of making crab cakes, the most important part, and that's to pick the crab. There is nothing more disheartening than biting into a luscious crab cake and getting a little bit of shell. What I do is spread it out in a pan and just simply pick through it and make sure that there are no shells. And if you're looking where can you get good crab meat, I always go to Island View in East Point. They have the freshest local crab meat. This is from Sanders and Sons and Sop Choppy that they have there. And they have crab meat where other places do not, or other places freeze it first, and I'm all about fresh. So I keep myself straight by making 4 little lines and just simply go through and pick through and look for shells. So you'll notice that in picking over the crab, I put it in a cookie sheet and I lined it with foil, which makes easier cleanup, but it also makes it much easier to get the crab into the bowl to get ready to mix it. So just one of my little tricks for less mess in the kitchen. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up a little bit of mayonnaise and mustard, Worcestershire hot sauce, a little Creole seasoning. All the recipes call for Old Bay. I'm a little tired of Old Bay, and I find these 2 seasonings add a nice flavor. In addition, sometimes I use Ritz crackers and crumble them up. Sometimes I use Pepperidge Farm stuffing mix and put it in the blender and make it into a crumb and use that. Today we're going to go old-fashioned and southern with the Ritz crackers, and Levi's going to crush those things up for me. Okay, so I kind of measure, not exactly. I find that after many years of making things, I am able to just kind of go by the seat of my pants, and usually it turns out okay. I'm going to mix everything up first and then add it into the crab meat and watch the consistency. You don't want it too soupy. You want the crab to hold together in the cake. I use 1 egg. A lot of recipes call for 2 per 1 pound of crab meat. It makes it easier to cook. It holds the cake together, and you may have a prettier dish, but I don't think it tastes as good. It gets it a little bit too gummy and chewy with the 2nd egg. So we're going to use 1 egg and get this mixed up and put it together. So that's about ½ a cup, right? Of course, I live with crystals. I put crystals in my scrambled eggs. It's my favorite. And Worcestershire sauce. In the South, you hear it pronounced Worcestershire. Little dab of mustard. Gives it a nice taste, and that is one of the things that you see typically in all the New England style crab cakes. This Everglade seasoning, it really does work well on, as it says, fish and chicken. I use this a lot of times when I smoke fish. I have an electric smoker. It's one of my favorite new discoveries here. Definitely very flavorful. This has a little bit more heat. I like a little bit of heat in most of my food. So the 2 of them together, I think, make a nice combination. Of course, salt and pepper always. we're going to mix that up. So now I'm going to whisk up the egg. A lot of people, when someone says whisk an egg, they beat it to death. We don't need to do that. We just need to mix the white and the yolk sufficiently so when it's put into the crab mixture, it's a nice even spread. So that's what we've got. I'm first going to mix in the egg mixture. I've seen people make crab cakes with big hunks of crab and then big hunks of bread in there as well. You want that to be blended. You want your bread or your cracker crumb to be blended up. So we've got that egg in there. Let's see how much of this we want to put. Yeah, that's blending up nicely. We're going to be ready for the crackers. My pet peeve is too much breading, too much egg in a crab cake. That's about a third of a cup. This is a half cup measuring cup. We're just going to put that in there. And we'll know if we have enough breadcrumb when we start putting them together.
So now that Kathy has the crab cake mixture prepared, what we're going to do is start preparing the accompaniment. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be roasting off sweet potatoes and asparagus. So the first thing we're going to do is put some olive oil in the bottom of our cast iron skillet. Not too much, just enough to coat the vegetables. And then we're going to take our sweet potatoes, put them in the pan with the olive oil, give them a little suntan lotion, and roast them off in the oven. The discs that we prepared are going to be about an inch, and they're going to give a beautiful color.
But the asparagus takes about 10 minutes at 400, 8 to 10 minutes. Watch it. The smell is the way I judge when things are getting cooked, especially vegetables. You start to smell that asparagus, go poke it with a fork and see if it's ready. Also remember that it continues to cook when you take it out. So you truly want your asparagus al dente when you take it out, and it'll be exactly right when you get ready to eat. The sweet potatoes take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how thick you cook them. Levi is going to season those up and get them in the oven right now.
Okay, we're just going to season these lightly with sea salt. And then we're going to do a little paprika. Brings out the flavor of the sweet potatoes. And a little fresh ground pepper. Now that we have the sweet potato seasoned, and it's going to have a longer cooking time than the asparagus, we're going to go ahead and get it started in the oven while we prep our asparagus. And like Kathy said earlier, we have the oven to 400 degrees, and we're just going to pop this bad boy in here right now. Okay, so we have our other cast iron skillet. Like I said, we put a very light layer of olive oil in it. And then we're going to get our asparagus, which we've already cut off the stems, and we've washed it, and then we have it drying with some paper towels. And we're going to lightly run it with some olive oil. Get everything lathered up. And roasted asparagus is an easy dish to make and very delicious and impressive. And then we're going to season it with the sea salt again and pepper. Sea salt, you don't have to use as much as regular salt, so try to be a little less than you would with Iodized salt. I'm going to crack some fresh ground pepper. All right, and we're going to set this aside and put it in after the sweet potatoes have been in about 10 minutes. So right now we have the sweet potatoes in the oven, and we prepared the asparagus to put in the oven later. Now we're going to saute up some shallots to put in the crab mixture. And I've already diced 2 full shallots. This is probably way more than we need, but you know, when in doubt, make more. So what we do is going to heat our pan with some butter, probably about a tablespoon. Like Kathy said, no real measuring here. It'll take just a minute for it to melt off. And then we're going to add our shallots with very minimal seasoning because we've already seasoned the crab, but we just want to season it barely with salt and pepper because Kathy's already seasoned our crab mixture. All right, so we've melted the butter over medium-high heat. Then we're going to add the shallots, probably about 1.5 shallots. I'm going to take off these bigger pieces because we want the really fine pieces to be in the crab cake. I'm going to coat them in butter. We don't want to burn them, we just want them to become translucent. All right, so we got the shallots going. Like I said, we don't want to brown them. We're going to minimally season them. A little bit of sea salt, crushed black pepper.
Oh, quite all right. Now, let me know. I put up a sign, filming.
All right. And turn the heat down just a little bit because we don't want them to brown. We just want them to get a translucent color.
One of the things I love is cooking. When I was a younger woman with 4 kids at home, not so much. So when I cook, I really enjoy it. I like to make sure I have fun, no stress. Keep it as a happy thing. And along those lines, I like to have a glass of wine while I cook. Sometimes the wine goes in the food, sometimes not. The wine I'm about to try is one that my daughter's company makes in the Napa Valley, and I haven't tried it before, so this will be a first. Cheers. Here's to good health and having fun with food. Oh yeah, I feel better already.
So here the timer's gone off. So we've let 10 minutes go by, and now we're going to add the asparagus into the oven with the sweet potatoes.
So Levi's cooked the shallots, and we've let them cool a little bit. You don't want to put them in fry pan hot into the mixture. And we're going to mix those up, and we're going to start making some crab cakes ready to fry. I love these shallots. These came from the pig, the little pig here on the island. They are the best tasting. In fact, they were in the chili that won 3rd place in the professional division of the St. George Island Chili Cook-Off. And I just love their flavor. I had got some shallots from Publix in Tallahassee. I didn't like them as well. They were more hot and spicy and not sweet like these are. So these will give the crab cakes just a little extra lovely flavor. You want them nice and even so when you're cooking them, they cook evenly. All of them are cooked the same. You don't want to mash them too hard. It's like making meatballs. When you make meatballs, don't squish the things like crazy. As I cook for you and show you some of my favorite recipes, I will work very hard to make sure that there are no ingredients that you can't find here. So if you're going to be preparing something, say you know you're going to make something on the weekend, you want a beef tenderloin or something special, you see that the little pig, what we call the little pig, doesn't have it, ask them to bring it over for you from the big pig. Every morning they make a run and they're happy to do it. This is definitely small town on this island. It's one of the things I love. Folks keep up with each other, folks take care of each other, and it includes our vendors and our service people. There, we've got some crab cakes ready to go. Levi needs to get frying.
All right, so we're gonna get some Crisco and butter, just very little Crisco, because like Kathy was saying earlier, this is Southern fish, so we're gonna use Southern ingredients. And then we're gonna get a little bit of butter just to coat the bottom of the pan, so we can get a nice crisp outside to the crab cake. So we don't want it to be standing in a pool of butter, but we want enough to cover the entire bottom of the skillet. There we go. You hear that noise? That's what we want to hear. And our timer is ready for our sweet potatoes. So I'm going to let Kathy watch that while I take these out. Got a nice crisp color of the sweet potatoes.
Get a fork. The smell in here is incredible. I didn't think I was hungry. Yes, I am. I am so ready for these. I think they're ready to flip one more time.
Okay, we're going to flip these over. You see the nice little crust we have on all these?
Yeah.
So they're almost ready.
And you can see that you lose a little bit. They don't hold together as tight. They're not as pretty because we only use one egg, but the taste will make that worthwhile. I'd rather messy and taste good than pretty and the lack of flavor.
Right, and since we put very little breadcrumb mixture in this, it's almost all crab. Unlike a lot of other crab cakes, it's all breading and no crab. And you're trying to figure out what kind of cake is this? Is it shrimp, crab, fish? Mm-hmm. And this is all crab. You can even see the lumps of crab on the side. Pan to the side, and we're going to let them get on the pan so they don't stay too oily. And now we're gonna get our pan ready for our second batch.
Oh my goodness, it looks like a little piece fell off of one of these. I hate for that to go to waste. Oh yeah. Those are perfect, Levi.
All right, now we're gonna plate up the crab cake. We're gonna start off by making a bottom layer of a little of the remoulade sauce. And then we're gonna get a sweet potato. I'm going to grab one of these luscious crab cakes. And then we're going to have a little bit of asparagus on top. All right. We got a little parsley. And then what seafood doesn't go good with lemon? All right, we just finished plating everything up. Now the taste tester. She gets to tell me if I did good or not. And if we can cook together anymore, I hope so.
Yep. Let's get a little hunk of that.
A little hunk of the crab cake. Some asparagus.
Oh, good. That didn't fall in my wine. Yum. Oh. Oh.
Perfect.
That's...
The coldness of the remoulade with the crispiness of the crab cake. Very good, Kathy. I'm staying for dinner. I'm staying for dinner.
We do good work. So, Levi and I get together and do this for fun. But Levi also works in the food industry, and he is also available to come to your home and cook for you when you have a special occasion. I am have another passion in addition to food and recipes, and that's real estate. I'm a real estate broker. Apalachicola Bay Realty. Give me a call. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.